Good morning and welcome to week 2 of the online portion of child psychology. It's really good to see you this morning. Forgive my cold. My voice isn't really clear, but here we go. First of all, I just wanted to thank you for last week. Just kind of trying to put everything together, and I'm very sorry that I guess the connect on the quizzes, the dates were a little off. The dates were really correct, but it's just that for some reason on the website it was showing the wrong dates as far as due dates. So I did extend that a little bit. I think you have till tomorrow or Thursday to finish the quizzes for weeks for the first week, which is Chapter 1 and 2. This week you'll have Chapter 3. That's what we're talking about this week. So I hope you were able to get into the book last week and read a little bit, the first 2 chapters. Especially that first chapter doesn't say that much, but it's pretty good just to get to a good idea about research and why we think what we think about child development and all. In this second week we'll be doing plunging more into the idea of the part of child psychology that develops in utero. So we're talking about genetics, we're talking about what happens after conception, and actually this is the big question of child psychology, is where do babies come from? And I know that, I don't mean to be funny, but I think most people probably think they know where babies come from, but they just don't think about it very much. As far as really knowing it in the sense of knowing where babies come from. And the reason I say that is because if you think about it, that which produces children is actually something that most of us are not thinking about when we're doing it as far as producing children. For that reason, see, we have to realize that the psychology of a child begins at conception, because this is where the child begins relationships with the people taking care of him or her, the people who are going to have a profound effect on that child's life. And so when we conceive a child, and we're not thinking about conceiving a child, so we're starting a person's existence in a way that we're not even thinking about the child's existence. And I think that's really profound. So if you're thinking of your own psychology as in your childhood, then you should think about that. To what degree were your parents planning to have you? And how that relationship began before conception and after conception as you continue to develop. So there is that profound, that's a profound question, I believe, that is important to understand if we're going to really comprehend the psychology of children. I wanted to mention a couple of people. Your first discussion boards were really good. I think most people did very well. And remember to answer the whole question. And I'll give you quite a few questions, like 3 or 4 questions, and you answer them all. But then you also want to make sure that you think about it in terms of drawing a conclusion, a little analysis there. I just wanted to mention a couple of people. I particularly was impressed by Elizabeth Hall and Nancy Riley, and Jasmine Davis and Krista Vaughn. All of the discussions were good, but those 4 just seemed to really go above and beyond what was called, and especially Elizabeth and Nancy, in your analysis of how gender might affect how those children were reacting. Remember, that's really what we're trying to get at. We're trying to understand, why do children do what they do, so that we can prepare ourselves to have some kind of influence on them. In any case, I hope you enjoy this next week, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next Monday or Tuesday. Have a great week.